The following thoughts and opinions we're going to discuss regarding this album are strictly of our own personal interests. We are not professional music reviewers. We encourage respectful discussion and friendly banter in each episode, but we do not condone and will not tolerate bullying or belligerence. You are welcome to take what we say regarding the albums we rate with a grain of salt.
Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 62! Yay! Oh, you know it's Rate the Record because Savannah's audio just cut out in my headphones when she cheered at the beginning. Nothing changes.
I barely even screamed this time.
New episode, same old podcast, but it's not just a new episode, it's also a brand new season. Season 4! We're on the fourth one of these damn things.
Oh my God, even some TV shows that I like haven't even touched into season 4. So I feel like I'm more successful than the original run of Arrested Development.
Didn't they? No, I was going to think of
original run.
Okay, I didn't even watch Arrested Development, so I don't know. But hey, since we're just as equally as popular as The Simpsons, season 4 was in their golden era, right? So, I mean, we're in our golden era. So your golden era hosts of the day are Kris and
Savannah.
When I say golden era host, it makes it sound like we're way too old to do this.
I'm like 75. This podcast has aged me far beyond my years.
Yeah, I'm geriatric and I haven't even hit 40 yet.
My back, hurting.
But yes, that is us, and this is the Rate the Record podcast. Welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you for coming back for another season, hanging out with us from the Rate the Record podcast. If you're brand new, we hope you enjoy what you see here on the podcast. You know, as we always try to bring up new things, or we don't always bring up new things. We always do, because, I mean, that's what we do every single week. Savannah and I will choose a brand new record to listen to, be completely at random of our own choice, maybe celebrating an anniversary, it's like some sort of special occasion. We also get plenty of requests. We got some requests for season 4, and we're looking for more, so please send them. By all means, though, do that. Regardless, we will listen to an album front to back. We will discuss it at length. We're going to rank the songs, and then we rate the record.
Woo-hoo. I really hope that cut out. Woo-hoo-hoo.
It did when he said woo-hoo, but rate the record was fine.
Beautiful.
It's something about you cheering that Zoom doesn't care for.
You know what? Normally, I am just straight-faced, melancholy, and somber. And then I try to put a little bit of life into my behavior on this show. And it's just like, no, stop it. Stop doing that.
You go back to monotone, whatever the hell, Savannah.
Right. All right. That's fine.
Sad. But before we go any further, something really important I got to point out, and it starts with our Ko-fi.com/rate the record link. And I'm bringing that up first for a reason, because, I mean, we push it all the time and we're just saying, hey, it's optional. Go check it out. Well, we finally do have a shout out to give, because we do actually have one of you out there who decided, hey, you know what? I like these people enough to give them money.
Yeah.
So, hey, welcome to the RTR Club, just by the nickname Nick, which, by the way, I don't know this person personally, but they have commented on many of our new music reviews, so very much familiar with you. Thank you so much for donating. It's awesome that you think that we deserve it.
Thank you very much. It's funny because when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then I decided that I'm terrified thinking that somebody's watching me.
Someone likes you just enough to pay for it.
That's scary. But thank you so much.
No, yeah, it's awesome. So thank you very much for helping us out with that and doing that. We hope that it is worth it in the end, because we're doing everything we can for this channel, and we're going to do more for Ko-fi. We have a lot more planned, especially with season 4 coming up now and everything like that. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to donate to, by all means, check out Ko-fi.com/rate the record. So that way you can join the RTR Club as well. There are benefits to it. So go check the page out. It's all over there. And if you don't want to donate, but you still want to support the channel, no problem. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, share, follow. All of those things help us build the musical community that we've been trying to build forever and ever. And we're still building, still doing very well, but we can always do better. There's always better, right?
On YouTube, we're still over 100 subscribers, and we took a bit of a break for the holidays. So thank you so much for sticking with us, even though there actually hasn't been a review video yet. So yay, I hope it's worth it.
Yeah, we haven't done an episode in over a month, and somehow we gained 2 subscribers over that on YouTube. So hey, thank you very much. Very happy. So do all that, help us build, because bigger is better. So do all those things to help up the channel. Very much appreciated. And you can tell I'm still really rusty at this too, because I'm just kind of like mumbling my way through. I'm like, where's my spot in any of this anymore? That's how long this has been. And remember to follow us on our social media so you can find all the streaming links and everything like that, and video link, whatever the hell you need from us is all found at ratetherecord.ca. Go ahead and check that out. It's a neat looking little site. You can always find the request form there as well. If you want to request an album for the season, by all means, do it there. And you can also find the album giveaway link. There's a whole bunch to talk about in the beginning now because I realized how much we have to do. But yes, we are officially giving away albums now. We talked about that forever. We're over 100 subscribers. We're in January when this video comes out, which means we're giving away Radiohead's OK Computer. We released a whole video kind of going over the rules of this, so you can go back and check that out. Or, I mean, if you're in the audio world, go on YouTube and check it out. Regardless, there is a link, and if you want to try to win that record for the month of January, go ahead and do that. And it changes every month. We'll update you, and yeah, so free music, why not?
Yeah. I had nothing to add other than that. Woo.
Yeah, because I'm trying to find a way to make this all condensed, and I'm terrible at this. But I think by like 4 or 5 episodes in, I'll be back on my game. It'll take a long time because I'm a slow man.
That is quite all right and quite apparent. So let's move on.
I can dig it. So yes, episode 62, time to actually start talking about music and band and such. And today is my choice. And for the video viewers out there, I got something to show you. It's the vinyl copy of the Tea Party's 1997 album Transmission. The very first one I was introduced to from this band. Like I know, like, you know, Splendor Solace and Edges of Twilight. Were out by before that, but this was the one because I mean I remember being 8 years old and Temptation was on Much Music. It just debuted and that was badass and I loved it. So boom, that's how I fell in love with this little thing here. And to the video viewers, God, you got to see this vinyl. This is pretty. Look at that.
Woo-hoo,
like
blood red.
Yeah, I don't want to take it out too much because it's a pain in the ass to put back in.
That's like what is it? Like fruit punch red. Like the red food dye we were told not to have as children.
Yeah, so to anyone with pica, you could probably chew on this record thinking it's Jolly Ranchers.
Please don't do that.
No, I wouldn't recommend it, but at the same time, I'm not your parent, so hey, you'll learn lessons the hard way. Yes. But anyways, yeah, we should probably start talking about the Tea Party because we've been rambling for a while and I've been figuring out how to intro this video properly. So, because I chose today's album, let me tell you a little bit about the Tea Party in case you don't know. So, the Tea Party, how many times can I say that in a whole day? They are a rock band with touches of industrial, psychedelic, prog, and blues, all in that kind of era of rock, that formed in Windsor, Ontario, Canada in 1990. The band consists of 3 members who have been the only full-time member since its inception: Jeff Burrows on drum, percussion, and auxiliary, Stuart Chatwood on bass, vocals, and a variety of string and key instruments, and finally Jeff Martin on lead vocals, guitar, and another variety of string instruments, including the hurdy-gurdy. I had to point that one out because that's a badass medieval instrument.
Weird. What is it? Also, I've seen him play the theremin, and that's pretty cool too.
Oh, and you can hear a theremin in this album too, in certain parts. Nice. The hurdy-gurdy is like this big box thing that it's kind of like a sustained violin type thing, but you have to like crank a handle to kind of make it go. It kind of sounds like a very archaic version of an accordion.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really weird instrument. It's a medieval instrument. People still play it today, and they used it. I don't know if in this particular album, but he plays it anyways.
Cool.
The band is also known for incorporating Middle Eastern and East Indian instrumentation into their music, which the press would eventually deem Moroccan roll. God damn, I love that pun. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
I think that's clever. I really like it. The members had formed prior to the Tea Party, having played together many times throughout their high school years since they all came from Windsor, Ontario. They eventually settled on the name there is now, but not named after the Boston Tea Party, but some famous hash sessions of noted poets Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, I think I said that right, and William Burroughs.
Jack Kerouac.
Kerouac?
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. I'm not dyslexic at all, and also I'm not wearing my glasses. I'm blind as shit. William Burroughs, I can read that last name though. They released their self-titled debut album under their own label, Eternal Discs, in 1991. Jeff Martin produced that album, would continue to do so throughout the band's entire career as a way of allowing the band to have full creative control over their work. They would eventually sign with EMI in 1993 and release their first official studio album, Splendor Solace, the next year. What a fantastic album that was.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, yeah.
I bet there's going to be a lot of people pissed off we didn't pick that or Edges of Twilight to start. We picked Transmission.
Oh, my God. I definitely mention Splendor Solace in my review, but that's the one out of all of them that I like the most, for sure.
Rest assured, we will eventually touch on that. Like, we'll get into it. Like, there's no way we're going to ever skip through that.
Hell yeah.
Maybe their later stuff, but earlier stuff, not so much. So wasting no time, they would then release their second album, The Edges of Twilight, another fantastic album, a year later in 1995. After a successful run with those albums, followed by successful tours, they got to work on their third studio album, today's album, Transmission. It was released August 19th, 1997. It was recorded at Alchemical Studios in Montreal, Quebec, NRG Studios in Los Angeles, California, and Le Studio in Morin Heights, Quebec, which, yes, that's where Rush pretty much recorded almost every single album of their career. So it's their Abbey Roads. That's what like a lot of people refer to it as.
Yeah, that's the one that the Limelight video is at, I'm pretty sure.
That Tom Sawyer, Closer to the Heart, they were all filmed like in that one same. I'm pretty sure it was all done on the same fucking day. Like really
cool.
It barely looks like they changed or moved spaces. So the album was released through EMI Music Canada and was produced by Jeff Martin, as mentioned before. The album continued to expand on the band's experimentation as they would use samples, sequencing, and loops. This would give this the sound more of an industrial and drum and bass feel to the music. The album deals with dystopian themes as well as the afterlife, so those are kind of the two big things it has going for it. The album hit number 3 on the Canadian album charts and number 5 on the Australian album charts. It went double platinum in Canada and also received a Juno in 1998 for Rock Album of the Year. The only publication that I could find that actually reviewed this album, usually there's like a list of them we give, I can only find one. These are good friends at All Music. They gave it a 4. They gave it a 4 out of 5. Shout out to anyone listening who gets that reference. That means you've been here a while.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, they give it a 4 out of 5. So essentially they A-tiered it. So hey, look at them doing things. The album also produced 5 singles. Temptation, which was apparently the band's only US chart entry at number 36. Babylon, which is likely one of the most experimental tracks they've ever done. Release, which was also used for the White Ribbon campaign. Psychopomp, and Gyroscope.
Gyroscope I didn't know. Babylon I definitely know, I've heard before. But
the video was crazy too. Have you seen the music video?
No, I haven't. I've only seen Temptation. That's it.
Babylon's infamous because there's a lot going on and it's a single shot video. Like just there's no cuts and just like people are moving around doing things, and eventually at the end with Jeff Martin moving around everywhere, he's eventually like hanging from a cord on the ceiling, being lowered into the set.
Maybe I have. I have.
It is a fucking chaotic video.
Oh, maybe I have. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to go watch that again.
I mean, the song's only 2 minutes and 50 seconds long, so I mean, it's a short video. You can get it done in like less time it takes to take a shit or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but I procrastinate.
Supposing so, for 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Anyways, guess we'll go ahead and start talking about the album now because that was a mouthful for me to say. So let's start with song number 1, the first single from the album, Temptation.
Okay, so we're going to start this off with a criticism because that's just who I am. I think I would have preferred that sort of little intro part to just be like intro to the album and then have the song start how you'd hear the radio edits, because they definitely cut that off. Having that attached to this song, like it doesn't really show up in the song at all. It's not touched upon at the end. It just kind of screams, hey, we're the Tea Party. Remember us? We sound like this. And then they go into something that doesn't sound like that. So I just thought it would make more sense to be like a separate, 30, 40 second track. But I mean, it doesn't deter me from listening to the song at all. Just an observation.
I was just going to add on to that with the intro. Not that I dislike it. I'm fine with it because like I feel like it's a good mood setter to kind of like introduce you to the story a little bit. Although I kind of wish it didn't loop twice, like because it just plays that one section, then does it again. It's like if you just played it once, that would have been fine. Because I mean, realistically, Temptation's like 2.5 minutes. But with the guitar beginning there, it's like almost 3.5 minutes. So like if you just cut it down a little bit, you'd have like a good punchy 3-minute song.
Okay, good, because that makes sense for I thought this was a longer song, because I always look at the total time and I'm like, that seemed a lot shorter than 3 minutes. That's probably why, because I didn't take into account the little intro bit. But I honestly have nothing really bad to say about this song aside from that intro bit. Like I said, it doesn't really put the song at a detriment or anything. I have listened to this entire album like decades ago when it came out, because my dad would always drive around with us listening to new albums in the car, and this happened to be one of them. But I actually heard something new this time, and I don't know why it's surprising to me that this happens, but I think it might be the keyboard that is like scaling during the chorus. And like, I've never heard that before. And it's only for like, I don't know if it's my headphones, if my ears are just a little more finely tuned to it. But I heard that and went, fuck, this sounds cool. I like this. So I'm glad that I find something new in something old.
Well, that's kind of the best part about like sitting down listening to it critically. Like you'll pick up on layers that you often wouldn't hear unless you listen to it like 25,000 times.
Yeah.
So it's especially in headphones too, if you have a good pair of headphones. And I don't know if on Spotify if this is like the remastered album, because I know that they did like the 20-year anniversary thing in back in 2017.
I was thinking that it didn't like specify. So I was like, there's no way that I've missed this every time I've heard this song, but I'm assuming I
because
have.
like even on Spotify, like Edges of Twilight, they have a whole separate like deluxe remix album, or not remix, but remastered album, like separately from the original. So I mean, do you think they'd have it for this one?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't mind the guitar and the beating. I think it builds good into what we eventually get in the heavier portion of it too. And a fun little fact, that little drum sample before the actual real drums kick in is actually a sped up drum sample of Led Zeppelin's When the Levee Breaks.
Really?
Yes. And then it made sense. So then I listened to it, I'm like, oh yeah, that is just sped up. So I love that they're sampling all over this album too. So that's definitely a new direction for them.
Cool.
Yeah, the synth in the chorus that kind of closely follows the vocal melody too, I really like that. I think it's a really solid layer to the track, and it really adds like emphasis to the melody too, so it kind of gives you a little more to like go along with in the song. Really enjoyed that. And also there's a lot of noise in the track that sounds like a combination of like string scraping and old radio noises that are having like kind of in the background. It's one of those things you'd have to listen to multiple times to like really pick up on. And I don't know, like I guess I didn't notice that before, because again, like I mainly heard this through like TVs or radios or anything like that. So it's like not going to be the best ideal sound.
Yeah.
Hearing on my headphones, I heard that and I really like those layers because it just kind of adds more tension, like a bit of an unease listening to the track.
Yeah. I can't recall if it was this track or one coming up, but it is sort of like a muffled sort of scrapey. I assumed it was just like a muffled screaming, like maybe screaming words or something, but I don't know. I
might know what you're talking about, but you'll have to tell me when we get there.
Yeah, well, who knows if I even wrote it down.
Lovely.
It's not like I've been doing this over a year.
Hell no.
I guess really my last note is I really like how deep the drums sound. I think this song out of all of them is an awesome opening track to the album. And I can't think of anything else that I would put here that would beat Having Temptation just right into it. Well, and I'm glad that it was a popular single as well.
Yeah.
Gets you right there.
It's a good radio friendly track, and I mean, like it's heavy. It has a really good amount of energy. It's not that long at all, so I mean, like you don't have to sit through like a 5-minute track to get the best parts of it. Like again, if you take out that guitar in the beginning, it's like 2.5 minutes or something along the lines of that. Like it's kind of like Babylon, where it's just like without that piano outro at the end of Babylon, which we'll talk about later. Like it's only like a 2-minute 50-second song. Like it's really short.
Yeah.
But yeah, Temptation has a great catchy hook too. Just great writing all over the track. But man, that hook in the chorus, just screaming Temptation. I love doing that live. When I saw them live last year, I believe it. Yeah, last year, as concerts were kind of coming back into things, and they were playing at the Sound of Music Festival in Burlington. So I went there, and he was jet lagged because they just got him from Australia. But my God, Jeff, he still put on a great show.
And it's funny that you say that you've seen them, because I definitely could have been a little bit more prepared. If you can tell, I don't know if you can, I really should have taken it off the wall. It doesn't go up that far.
Nope.
Well, anyways, up above my Megadeth poster, I have a small photo of all three of them that they have signed. I didn't meet them, but I did purchase it already signed. And the first time I saw them, they were playing with Edwin in 1998. And I was
Edwin's
9.
prime, just after he left I Mother Earth.
Exactly. And for that birthday, I ended up with an Edwin CD and a Discman. No Tea Party CDs.
Was it the Spin Around the Sun album?
Of course it was. Yeah.
Good album. Good album.
Most-
Gotta do
most
that one on the
definitely.
show eventually. I don't think it's on our schedule, but I might have to fit it in somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I dig it. All right, we'll move on now to song number 2, Army Ants. This one just starts with a really cool drum groove in the track. Like, I love the kick drum pattern. I think it's really cool, especially like because there's like a couple different layers of it, like more of a kind of like a crunchy, distorted layer, and then just the clean drums. So I like how they kind of go back and forth. That just, I don't know, this one started out really good.
So I wasn't really sure about the song at the beginning. I know that I've heard it before. Again, I've heard this album, but it's one of those ones that you're listening to going, what the hell am I listening to? I think because I just didn't expect it to be so different than the older Tea Party that I'm more familiar with. That guitar riff is just fucking running in my head as I am talking right now. It is growing on me like mold. Like I was like, yeah, I don't know. I had to go back and rewrite my review because when I listened to it again, I was like, yeah, I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, it's infesting you like ants, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like, I found that the guitar riff kind of, it sounds shaky. Like it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just, it seems like a wobbly wheel on a car. It's like, you can drive. That's fine. It's just, I don't know. It's very strange. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. Yeah, there's some more to it, but I don't want to steamroll. Going on the wheel analogy, don't want to steamroll your review. So
the cool part about that riff too is that through the verses, the bass is actually playing that riff, so they just kind of like pass it off. So it's just constantly going through the entire song.
Ooh, maybe that's why I don't really hear the bass.
And I do like it. I think it's a cool choice that they did that because it does a great job of like, you know, changing the intensity while playing the same riffs. Because obviously the guitar is like really sharp on it, and then the bass just kind of has it running through the background softly enough while like everything else is happening. So that's really cool. I like that. One thing I noticed too, like as I mentioned before, like the Tea Party's known to dabble in prog rock, not all the time, but they do. This song is in 4/4, which is not very proggy at all, but it's built on this. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a 3-3-2 phrasing. So it's like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 because it still adds up to 8 in the end. There's a name for it. I don't know what it's called, but I really like that they used it in this one. Sometimes I catch these things, I just enjoy it.
That's probably why it sounds so wobbly to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound straight. It sounds like
3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 because it still adds up to 4/4 in the end, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. See, I know when something's like off. I just not sure what it is. So I'm glad that I was on to something.
Yeah. The only other notes I really have for this one is like I love the intense pre-chorus section of like the no one will feel you, no one will hear you. Like I really like that, super intense. And there's also like a lot of noise behind the riffs while Jeff's like screaming and everything like that, and just adds a really good punch to it. So I really like how heavy that hits.
That's the earworm that's in my head right now. Is just him screaming. Yeah,
and feel you.
We'll go away. Oh my god. Oh, it's good though.
Guy's got some power in his voice.
Oh my god. I do like the drums. There's a part where he's like tapping the ride bell and then going to the floor toms and then hitting that. And I really like the contrast between like the high and the low. I think that's cool. If you listen to it, it's very obvious. It's not hidden at all, but I really, really enjoy that. But I feel like this song, well, I guess really that point is moot since we spoke about it in the last song. And the last two songs, I don't really care that they don't fade out, that they just end quickly. But this one specifically, it felt like it was like a millisecond too short. Like it felt clipped at the end, and it felt like an abrupt ending. Now, I don't know if that was done on purpose to create some sort of like feeling about it, but it definitely created a feeling in me. Like I was listening to a song and someone just yanked the headphones off me. I was like, hey, what the hell, man? But aside from that, it was a good song. There's
a song coming up that kind of does that to me, and it's baffling how the song ends. I was kind of confused by it. I didn't write it down, but I know what it is, so if I remember to mention it, I will.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about it right now, so I know exactly what it is. The only other thing I have to say for the song is that I kind of like what you said with the drums and what you kind of liked about it. I did write that I'd like all the extra percussion, especially in the chorus.
Yeah.
I love the additional textures that it brings because again, they're using like a lot of like ethnic instruments as well, so like it just kind of brings out more flavor in the song. I really like it. It sounds good, and I don't know. This is one of those non-singles that I've always kind of really enjoyed.
Agreed.
Good
Like
stuff.
mold.
When you first started the review, it sounded like you were gonna like shit on the song. You're like, oh, this isn't exactly one of the songs. Blah blah. Oh god, she's gonna hate it.
Yeah. Well, like I didn't like it at the beginning. I was like, eh. And then as I'm listening to it more and having fucking earworm, I'm like, okay, there's something on. Like I'm onto something maybe. So I should listen to it again. Give it a good chance. So.
Well, I mean, this is the first of what I believe to be their more radio friendly albums. Like obviously, you know, like songs like "Save Me" made it to the radio from like older projects and everything like that. And I'm blanking on the other single, the other really big one they have. Regardless, they have plenty of big songs that have made it to the radio. But this is the first album where like things were more radio friendly, so they were easy to catch on to. Their songwriting had obviously changed slightly, not entirely, but slightly.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why you're gonna get a lot of these earworms. It happens a lot in this album.
Okay, so I'm just going to just read one of my points off of this next song because it definitely piggybacks off of what you're just saying.
Song number 3, Psycho
albums. This is what the Tea Party started to sound like closer to the turn of the millennium. A little more digital programming and strings, which is totally fine. This just feels like an appetizer before Triptych came out in 1999. So definitely on the same idea.
I know a lot of people fell off when Heaven Coming Down came out.
Yeah.
I like that song. I still do to this day. And then I heard them play it live at it's Burlington Sound of Music Festival, whatever. I can't remember the name of the park. Regardless, I still like it. It's super catchy, super fun. So, I mean, why not?
Took me too long to realize that it was a cover.
Heaven Coming Down, really?
Yeah, it's a cover. Yeah, I don't know who it was, but it's definitely a cover.
I wasn't too big on The Messenger. I didn't like that single that much. Got a letter from the messenger.
Yeah, I think it is Heaven Coming Down. That is the cover. Yeah.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I've never even heard that. But yes, your note is on song number 3, Psycho Pomp, as I kind of whispered on my phone there. I do love the acoustic tone in this one. Very clean, very crisp. So it's very nice to have that kind of moving forward in the beginning. My biggest gripe with this song is that the processing of the vocals sound a little dry. It seems like a little flat in the mix because most songs will use like reverb or echo or something like that to fill out the voice a little more and make it sound more full. Whereas this one was like flat, like right in the mix. Like you can hear the emptiness around his voice in between layers.
It's like his head is close to you and he's whispering it into your ear.
Yeah, and like all the band's like all the way the hell with air and stuff like that. So I mean, like,
I just imagine you sitting like, so it's the recording or the like the recording room or whatever. So you have the like the console and the producer sitting there, and you're sitting next to the producer. You got the glass, and they're performing in there. But Jeff Martin's standing in like the room with you, like just singing behind you, and the band's like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
You know, you're not far off, not specifically for the Tea Party, but I mean, there are plenty of bands in the studios where like the bands have to play in a separate room. Sometimes the guitarist will play in the same room, but in where the board is, they usually have a microphone. It's like sometimes they'll have a booth, but sometimes they'll have the microphone right there in the mixing thing and just do it there. So maybe he did.
Interesting.
Assuming I don't think they all played together though. I think they did like the separate recording things, unlike other bands. So yeah, I don't know. Regardless, though, the mix kind of felt flat on the vocal, so it kind of bothered me a little bit.
Okay. I didn't notice that at all. But then again, I don't notice a lot of things. So the piano riff in the song, I swear to God, it haunts me in my dreams. It is one of those, I don't remember the title of this song. How the fuck am I supposed to remember the title of this song?
Because it's weird. That's just like Psycho Pomp.
I wish that they would name their songs like Friends names their episodes. The one with the slow, catchy piano. That's it. And then I would know which one it is. But
I wonder if a band's done that.
Oh, I would love that. It'd be so easy. This one's slow. This one's fast. I've always liked the song, whether I remembered what it was called or not. I really like that the acoustic drums came in halfway through the track. I think it was a good idea and like added that intensity and that sort of crescendo that the song needed sort of in the middle, closer to the end. Because I think the whole song would have been kind of boring if it was just slow like it was at the beginning through the whole thing.
Well, considering, it's a 5-minute, 17-second song, like that that would have been too much. But that pickup in the middle is...
Oh, it was great.
Where the liveliness kind of happened, which is good. I don't mind the quiet beginning, obviously, but you're right. Like, this song would have really been affected by a 5-minute, just repetitive, slow thing like that. So, I like the building of it. Yeah. There's also a verse in there. I don't know if it's the second or third, but the bass gets really creative with its composition as well, because it sounds like it's just kind of bouncing everywhere. It's just like boom, boom, like boom, that kind of pattern of playing. I can't remember the exact notes, but I really liked it. I thought it was a nice fresh touch, like it was something different to hear. So I really enjoyed that. But this song doesn't feel like it's 5 minutes. I'll say that much. Like the intensity and passion in the 5 minute made it really worth it to get through the rest of this track. So that was good. I'm slowing down right now because I'm just remembering this is the song I was going to mention, the weird abrupt ending.
Oh, really?
With the piano and everything like that, because it just kind of like the piano's the last thing you hear as the song is kind of trailing out. And it just ends on like this weird note that's not exactly a cliffhanger note either. It's just like he forgot to how to play the song and just hit one wrong note. He's like, fuck it, I'm done.
I never even noticed. I actually was like, oh, okay, it's over. Cool. Yeah.
And also the piano felt kind of a little flat in the mix too, like kind of like how I felt about the vocal. So I don't know, just maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my headphones. I don't know, but what I was listening to, that's what I got out of it.
I did note that I did like that the guitar fades out at the end to let the piano sort of finish the track, but I think it would have sounded nicer if it was just the piano. I feel like the guitar kind of went on a little long in comparison to how long the solo piano was. I don't know. It seemed like it was just grasping on, and they're like, no, like turn down your amp. And he's like, no, I gotta keep going. So that was kind of noticeable. I still gave it 4 apples out of 5 oranges though. So
it's a lot of fruit.
It is.
I'm diabetic. I can't have that much in a day. Everything sucks.
I give it
5 sugar-free apples. Like, does that exist?
I was gonna say 4 loaves of bread, and I was like, "Shit, I'm going the wrong way."
I'm also celiac, you bitch. Leave my digestive tract alone. It's already dealt with some shit, no pun intended, over the last couple of years.
Oh my god! You know what? I'm just gonna shut up and just wait till the next song.
Clever transition, pun, haha, funny gyroscope. Song number 4. I don't know how the hell to. My brain's spinning like a gyroscope. I don't fucking know.
The beginning is...
Something will come up. I'll make a pun eventually.
Yeah, like at the end, and then just like insert it when you edit. The beginning is like mosquitoes in my ears. I feel like it made more sense as the song went on, but in the beginning I was like, oh, it's too much. It's like, ugh. I
don't know. I like that kind of atmospheric, like add like those touches, those like ambient touches. It kind of gives you more theater of the mind, and at least for me it does, because it gives you more to work with just before the music kicks in too. So I like it. Yeah,
exactly. Theater of the mind. Mosquitoes. I was thinking that I was camping.
But it bothered you.
It did. I feel like it was a similar tempo to Temptation. It kind of felt similar, but then immediately I was like, oh, this is definitely something else for sure.
Yeah, and actually, this song reminds me of another Tea Party song. It's one of the ones I can't remember the name of for some reason, even though I really like the song. It's off of an older album. I don't remember which one.
Oh.
It's one of the older ones, though.
I know song titles. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on.
I know the damn
The
song.
Bazaar. That's what it is.
That is, yes, that is.
The Bazaar.
Okay,
Thank you for starting that.
But Gyroscope kind of
Yes.
reminds me of that, like just kind of like a different version of it. But regardless, I still like it. It has awesome groove once the drums kick in. It's a very, very bouncy kind of beat and everything like that. Love it. And the way that the guitar and the bass are like super tight together while they're playing through the verses is so audibly pleasing to me. I really, really like that, especially since there's staccato notes, so like nothing's like sustained. So sounds fantastic. I really like that.
I felt that, like Army Ants, upon the first listen, there was just something in this that sort of felt off. And I don't know if it's like the vocal phrasing or if it's like an odd time signature. I definitely can't put my finger on it. But like Army Ants, the more I listened to it, the more it started to grow on me. Perhaps not as much. But I find it very difficult to describe what the hell it is that I'm listening to because of all of the like auxiliary instruments and different sounds that they include in their music. Like some of it, if it's like a sitar, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a sitar. And other stuff, I'm like, this sounds great, but I cannot even imagine what the hell they're playing at all.
I just want to know if the hurdy-gurdy was in this album at all. I don't know. I should have looked at the album notes and I didn't. I just saw on Wikipedia that they have it in their like overall career. I'm just like, where is it?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting instrument. But yeah, like this song is like less than 3 minutes long and it definitely packs a punch within that time. So I don't know. I really liked it. Like I kind of quick to the point, got everything out that I needed to, didn't feel the need to go overboard and everything like that. So I really enjoyed this one.
My last note definitely piggybacks on your last one. The song didn't even give me enough time. I need more time.
I don't know. It was good and fast and everything like that. It was energetic, heavy, and like by the time it was done, I was just like, served. I'm done.
Yeah. It's a meal of appropriate size.
Yeah, it's like a to-go snack. It's like kind of like you buy like a small wrap and then you just kind of go out. You can eat it with one hand as you're walking. You know, like it's one of those type
Fair
of deals.
enough. Fair enough.
Why do our analogies always come down to like food and stuff? Why does it always have to be like this?
I have no idea. I like food and I eat everything. You can't eat anything, so that's probably why.
Hey, that's not true. I can eat things.
I can eat a crown of broccoli, thank you.
That's fine. Dip it in a little ranch sauce. I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yummy.
Alrighty then. See all of our food analogies. Anyone out there, please make a compilation of all the times we've ever mentioned food and just call us a bunch of pigs or something like that. It'll work. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
I guess I will, as long as it's in good humor.
Talking about food again, you better sound the alarm. Song number 5. Alarm. I like that. I like it.
That, like, I wish you would have said it with like a southern twang. Ring the alarm.
I think a lot of the best deliveries to jokes, especially deadpan like that, are like in the style of Stephen Wright, who is just like the most deadpan, like no tone comedian ever, and it just always hits. Somehow it always works. But so I just want to make it sound like dead and boring. But yeah, song number 5, Alarm. Here we are.
So it might be, what is with my camera?
Didn't you get a new light and everything?
Strobe lights. Yeah, I got to figure out
the
why
white
my
balance.
camera.
That's all it is. The white and auto balance.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling I have to download an app to fix my camera. It's one of the things on the list.
That's why mine's always stationary.
Mine is not.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody who had to just watch that happen.
Don't worry, we'll use that Ko-fi donation money to buy you a new camera.
No, it's just the education to fix it. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, it might be because I like the Tea Party's first album, but this song really brings me back to that, but with like some modern tweaks. Now,
when you say first album, do you mean the self-titled or Splendor Solace?
Splendor Solace, because I didn't know that the self-titled even existed.
It wasn't like Splendor Solace was the first studio album, but yes, there is the self-titled. So when you say first album, I just want to make sure which one you were talking about.
Well, I also thought that this album, Transmission, was their 4th album because I'll consider Alhambra as one, but I don't even know if that's an EP.
I think that was just a bunch of like acoustic versions of older songs.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought that was a full-length album. So
yeah, and actually, I think that there might even be acoustic versions of some of the songs on this album on that one too. I can't remember. I was reading about it though, so
Interesting. Well, Splendor Solus is the one I'm speaking of. And I like it. And the other songs that you have mentioned, the bass, I have not heard it. I have not heard bass at all until this song. So I made note of it. Yeah. Maybe it just fit in very well and it didn't stick out, or it really just sort of cruised with the song. But this one, it was finally audible because it was like more center stage, and I liked it enough to make note of it. So I think it fits the song real well.
Like the bass isn't as forward in the mix, but at the same time, like it is noticeable. Like without even trying to hear it, like I heard it. Like
really, I kept hearing like the bass drum, which really took a lot of my attention. So maybe it was playing really well with the drums, and all I was really hearing was the drums. So.
Well, and also Stuart Chatwood's not exactly like an 80s rock bassist where he's just like riding one note for the whole song. Like he seems like a really talented, like awesome bassist. Like he seems like he knows what the fuck he's doing. Yeah. So I mean, like he's probably just doing a bunch of shit that you weren't not expecting. So therefore, maybe you're just missing it. Maybe you're hearing a few like low notes. You're like, oh, there he is, but he's not doing much. But meanwhile, he's like up here too. So
yeah. I've definitely seen him. Well, obviously I've seen them live, and it's kind of like Geddy Lee, where it's like the bass keyboard sort of doing everything at once. Yeah. Which is, I think, is like super impressive.
Yeah, you got a lot of responsibility on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're still talking about Alarum, and I'm still thinking about that pun.
Fuck off.
There was a great groove between the drums and the bass on this one in the verses, so I really enjoyed that part of it. It's really cool. A really intense performance by Jeff Martin on this track too. Like when he gets screaming, like on this track in particular, I can imagine him like passing out a couple times in the studio.
Oh shit!
Like, because he screams a lot on this album, but the thing is, like this song, there's something about it where it seems so much more intense. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to bet, like, not that necessarily that he passed out, but it probably took a toll on him because it's really up there. He's really belting out.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned more of the what the fuck? Yeah, I guess more of the guitar. The guitar makes me feel like I'm floating in a dream. And then the chorus, I'm like aggressively yanked back down to earth. And I actually kind of like that. It's sort of kind of polarizing, and that's pretty cool. I did notice that there's some panning on the guitar, but it's so minimal that it adds to that sort of floaty, dreamy kind of feel. And I think that was sweet. Or as the kids say, sick.
Don't.
I don't know. I don't know what the kids now say.
Well, we literally just had this towards the end of season 3 where we're talking about the dab me up thing, and I made a joke about a bingo dabber because we're fucking old.
Oh my God. Okay. So just a little.
Are we updating this story?
Yeah, just a little side note here. So when I ever talk about the kids, they're actually my partner's teenagers. So they were talking recently. They're like, "Oh, something's cracked," and I look to them. I'm like, "That means bad," and they're like, "No, that means good." And I look back, going, "I have no idea what they're talking about."
I've not heard that slang either.
Hard. Yeah, I try so hard, and I have no idea. I'm just going to stick with cool and awesome.
I'm going to stick with groovy and trucking, and word and surf ups and whatever, all that kind of old man bullshit.
Oh Lord.
Y'all damn kids and your I don't even know what it's like. And the thing is, I scroll TikTok a lot too. You think I'd be more caught up on some of this? It took me a long time to figure out what the fuck sus was before that was a huge thing. Oh, you're sussy. It's like, I'm what?
That's just short form for suspicious.
Yeah, it is, but just like, well, because that came from like the Among Us game or whatever, which I have not played that either. So
yeah, me neither.
Grandpa Kris over here just wagging his finger. Play the Sega Genesis, kids. Play what I played. Go play Gunstar Heroes, best game ever.
Oh my God.
So the only other note I have about the song, instead of being an old man, I felt like the chorus kind of felt flat. It missed the mark production-wise, I think, because I listened to it on a few different platforms because I had to be certain. Maybe it was just Spotify, maybe it was one thing or another. And each time, it felt like just a little flat and a little too drum heavy. So I don't know. The mix felt a little off to me. There wasn't like enough density in what could have been a really epic chorus, like towards the end of the song I'm talking about. But, or actually, no, in any of the chorus in the song, really. But still, like, it's unfortunate. I still like it, but at the same time, just it affected what could have been an even better song. So I was a little let down by it in a way. But there's still a lot I did like about it.
Okay, incoming food analogy. The way that you describe
just yet.
The way that you describe certain things, it's like you're eating like a fine dining meal and you're like, oh, I like how this matches with this and this was good, but you could have done that. And I'm like, I'm hungry, give me food. And every time that you sort of describe the production, or this sounded flat, or this sounded like, you know, up or down or sideways, I'm just sitting there going, I'm just glad to have gotten anything.
Yeah,
but I learned something, so it's good.
You gave me canned chili and I wanted the 5-alarm chili.
Yeah, like, oh, this doesn't have beans in it, but I'll eat it anyways, thank you.
I was hoping that I could fit in at least 2 more alarm puns before the end of this.
Nah, you're gonna have to release.
That was the last
puns.
one, and now we're gonna move on. I have to release it now.
Yeah, I already said it. When you edit this, you'll know that I said it first.
I'll just silence you and I'll say it first. It's fine. I have the power. I have both audios, both video, everything. I'm the better host.
That's fine. I'll start releasing the behind the scenes.
Yeah, you have to be behind me, like recording me with the camera while I'm editing, so that way it's like super meta.
I was thinking just releasing mine, but yeah, definitely a break into your house.
All right, song number 6, another single on the album, Release.
I don't think I like this one as much as I thought I might, because I do remember liking it when it came out, but I don't know if I like it as much. I mean, I don't hate it, but it does sound very cinematic from the start, and I really do enjoy that. So that's a plus.
I'm going to try to remember this off the top of my head because I was reading about it, and there's not a whole lot to read about, but so I mentioned in the beginning of this review that Release was used in what's called the White Ribbon Campaign. And what the White Ribbon Campaign is it's a collective, like a movement amongst men and boys to end violence against women and girls, essentially. So like there's a positive message behind that. And the song was written when Jeff Martin was, I believe, watching a documentary about like women's rights in certain areas of the world and how like men can be abusive and everything like that. So apparently the song was written as an apology to women. So I mean, just take that as you will, which is, I mean, it's fine. Like lyrically, the song is fine. And when you listen to the lyrics too, you really start to understand that. But just, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the song did too well sound wise, I guess, because like I don't know, it was really minimal in what it can offer. Like if we're talking outside of lyrics now, I mean, just instrumentally, it's like it feels like it's kind of building up a little bit, but like there's no real payoff, so it kind of feels just like, you know, like a 4.5 minute just kind of drone in a way. I mean, the hook at the end is catchy. I want you to be free. Like we all know that. It's fine.
Yeah.
Lighters up at the concert, blah, 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 whatever. Like, but yeah, just like the hook's fine and everything like that. But other than that, just like this one doesn't really do it for me either. Like lyrically, it's nice. Instrumentally, it does sound nice, but just it's kind of like it's the last song on the A side of the album too. So I mean, maybe this is just kind of like the slow transition into the B side.
There's like this wind chime thing that ends every vocal phrase during the verse.
Quietly, but yes, I hear it.
And in the chorus. And it is used far, far too much. There are a couple times where it is strategically placed like a half beat later. So when I hear that, or when I anticipate it coming up, I'm like, oh, good, it's goddamn it, there it is. And fucking, I hated it. It's like, that's all I could focus on. And it just ruined it for me. And again, I don't know if it's something that I didn't notice before, or if, like you said, maybe it was like a remastered something. I cannot listen to the song without just focusing on that and going, just go away. Go. If it was during the verse, fine, keep it out of the chorus, first chorus and then cut it for the rest of the song, but it's just through the whole fucking song. And I found that really irritating. But aside from that, song's not too bad. It was just like, oh, I could not get past it. That's all I could hear.
So in a nutshell, your review is fuck this song. Not bad, but fuck this song.
Yeah, I mean, like I would listen to it again, but I would listen to it like through some speakers or something where it's not right in my ears, because it's too much. It's so irritating.
You got to get those old, like, I have them, like those old towering speakers are like 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
I actually have those with my record player in the other room there. And so that, because it's like, I'm pretty sure that Stuart Chatwood using like the bass pedals and the keys and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Because like just playing guitar and like there's percussion. So it's Stuart's, I don't hear any bass. So that's definitely him doing the pedals. I can only imagine how like rumbly that must be in like really big speakers.
Maybe, but if I can hear it in those big speakers, I'm just going to yeet those speakers right out the window. That means throw aggressively. I learned that.
There's something wrong with you.
There is a lot wrong with me. I don't know why it took you this long to even point that out.
Yeah, but now you just have this like Zoomer syndrome, which is arguably worse than anything else you could possibly have. Not debatable.
I just want to belong.
Well, you gotta... Man, I can't even think of like joking slang to use at this point. I'm just remembering slang that when I was in high school. We're just going to look past me now and go to song number 7, Transmission, the title track of the album.
Upon first listen, I actually feel like this song would have been a good album closer.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't say no. For some reason, I feel like with the intro that it has, I thought that this song might end up being a higher tempo song. I don't know, maybe some sort of contrast. No, it wasn't at all. But it, like, again, no detriment to it.
I mean, I'm trying to think, and like, I don't necessarily agree or disagree that this could be an album ender. Like, I can see why you would say that, but I don't know if it would necessarily fit. I kind of like how this opens up side B of the album, so that works. I think that works out pretty well. The opening of this track has always felt unsettling to me because you get this feedback that sounds like it's coming through like a small speaker or something like that. And then you have this like nearly indecipherable like foreign voice that makes it feel like you're listening to this like strange transmission in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. And just like you're kind of sitting there, like alone in a tent, like in the middle of nowhere, and then you just hear that coming through like your walkie-talkie. You're like, what is that?
I'm trying so hard to imagine what it is you're what it is you're talking about in the song, but all I can fucking think about is that fucking guitar riff from Army Ants. So I'm trying really hard to remember what this song sounds like. But this whole album might as well just be that fucking riff. So
at this point, if Army Ants isn't number 1 on your list, like your head is like your hemispheres are just like either split too far or they're trying to like mash into each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to stay silent because 1, I don't want to ruin it. 2, I don't want to admit that there is definitely something wrong with me. So
I thought you were just simply dissociating and ignoring me.
I was, yes. Right now I am on a beach in Tahiti.
Wonderful. Come back to Earth. We have to review an album. We're halfway through.
Oh my God. I found that this song really didn't offer me much in way of variety. It didn't really like spice anything up really. At least to me. I do wish that, this was my point earlier on. I wish that I had heard the bass guitar some more. It does feel like it's kind of buried deep, and I hear much more of the bass drum than anything. And the muffled vocals in the back sound great. It adds to the feeling, and I really liked that. So, I mean, maybe that's variety, but anything else, I didn't really feel like it gave me too much.
I think the song had some of the most variety on the album.
Yeah,
through a lot of percussion and the ethnic instruments that they used, and just like how there were portions of the song where they didn't really rely on the drums that much, and there was just kind of like its own little thing going on. I really like that because I really like how they experimented with that like Moroccan style of composition, because like all the sound textures and layers that they threw in just kind of like worked, and just everything was kind of just like everywhere, but it wasn't too much. I don't know. There's a lot. I liked it. There was a lot to take in and experience from it. at many different times in the songs too, because obviously then you had like more rock oriented portions as well. So I don't know. I felt like there was a lot more to take in from this track. Maybe you're just thinking of Army Ants.
Oh my God, that's all that's there, man. That's it. And I know that like for the rest of the night and all of tomorrow, it's just going to be in there.
Can you make that guitar riff, just that riff, your ringtone? And I'll call you every 5 minutes of the day.
It's really funny that you think that my ringer has been on at least once in the last 5 years.
I only have it on when I'm at work, and all the other times it's silent or on vibrate. That's it.
Yeah, I won't put it on silent because I'm too anxious. Vibrate, that's it. That's all.
Fair enough. I have to, obviously with work. I mean, my boss calls. I kind of have to answer the phone.
But do you really?
Probably. It could be not detrimental, but it's probably not good if I don't.
Fair.
And now
fair.
now that this will be out in the internet and he might be able to see this, then he's be like, oh, now I'm going to call him to make sure.
I'm really just wasting time because I don't have much to say about the last song. I feel we have polarizing opinions. That's just a feeling that I have. But yeah. So.
Well, I only really have one more point anyways. And yeah, this song's another one of those ones over like 5 minutes. I think like the average song of this album is like 4.5 minutes or maybe a little more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is another one of those long ones. Didn't mind it too much. The synth really carries this track too, which sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. But this one it does. It makes the sound feel a lot more full, and it really helps the melody like a lot. Since the other instruments kind of like hover around the key signature of the song, so just maybe like one or two notes, whereas like the synth is what kind of really pushes everything forward. So like I think that does a really good job. A very important layer to the track, and I don't know. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. I remember when I first got this album, like obviously when you're like a kid and you buy an album because you like the single or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'm listening to Temptation and Babylon. I'm just like, oh yeah, these songs are badass. I love them. And then like I start eventually tell myself, okay, you got to listen to the rest of the album now. And Transmission is one of those songs I came across where I was like, damn, that was actually a really interesting, cool song. I like that.
Cool.
I mean, that happened quite a few times in this album, but still, this one.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Speaking of Babylon, let's move on to song number 8, Babylon.
Another one that I don't remember what it's called, but first line, I forgot this song existed.
He says it in the song at the very least.
Yeah, we don't do lyrical analysis, so I just pretend that the singer doesn't exist.
You're always the one to say like, oh, I heard them sing it in the song, so I know that's the title. You always say that, you hypocrite.
Yeah, well, never said I wasn't.
Season 4, new host apparently. I don't know.
No, it's New Year, Old Me. Definitely feels more industrial and far less ethnic than what I would assume. And I'm like super down for it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Sounds experimental while still keeping their sound with a lot of layers.
Fun fact about the song, this was the very last one they did for the album. And so that's probably why they were very experimental with it, because as far as they were concerned and as far as I could read, they thought they were done with 10 songs. Oh. And I can't remember, I didn't read why they had to add this one, but they did. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, they probably just went a little nutso with it. And that's why it seems it's very, I don't want to call it minimal, but obviously like there's literally only 2 parts of the song. There's the verse and then the chorus, but it just keeps getting more and more intense as it climbs. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like 2.5 minutes if you don't include the piano outro. But yeah, the song is super fun, super exciting, very, very experimental track. Probably one of them, aside from, I'll just say now, aside from Aftermath, which is coming up towards the end of at the end of the album, this is probably the most industrial song they've ever done. Mm-hmm. Which again, I'm cool for it too. And obviously it has that like drum and bass, like super sped up bass at the beginning. So I thought that I've always liked that. I thought that was cool. And like, in hindsight now, being able to look back at like the Tea Party's old albums and then this song and just what a contrast it is. Mm-hmm. But they made it work though. Like I could see why maybe some diehard fans were just like, what the actual hell is this?
Yeah.
But maybe it's because I started with Transmission that like when I listened to that, I liked it. And then I listened to the old stuff, I was like, I like that too. Like,
yeah, but if you listen to Temptation, it kind of still has the same vibe. And that was like a big hit off this album too. So, I mean,
I think these 2 songs are very different though. Like they're heavy. Yeah. They're heavy. This one's like faster, definitely. But just like this, there's something about this one that sounds way more raw and just like, industrial in the end. But yeah, overall, I do really like the song. The only thing I'll say about it was I kind of wish. So the song is technically two songs in one, because the second half of the song is like this quieter piano, weird like little thing called Embryo, and so here's a couple of weird notes about that. First off, yeah, apparently they count it as one big song. It's like what 4 minutes 52 seconds, but the Babylon's actually just like 2:30, 2:40, something like that. The CD version I had as a kid didn't have it on it, but it listed Babylon as being 4 minutes 52 seconds. I remember having my CD player. Like I used to take it to school all the time because hey, listen to CDs, why not? That's before MP3 players, kids. That's before your phones, kids. See, that's old man Kris coming back.
I don't know. I'm young and hip and with it, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you never used a Sony Walkman in your entire life. But anyways, I would listen to Babylon like going to school sometimes. Like I would listen to the CD sometimes going to school, and I thought it was like awesome. Loved Babylon, loved listening to it. As the song was fading out, it would get to the end of the song on the counter, and then it would start going into negative digits while Embryo was playing. I've never seen that before, and I would just always stare at it in amazement, like, how does it do that? How's the time going backwards? Like it was so weird. I used to really like that, but now like the vinyl version that I have down here with me only lists Babylon as 2 minutes and 50 seconds, so they didn't even include Embryo. So like I was back and forth on whether or not we should technically include it as part of the song, but we did anyways because that was on Spotify.
Because I forgot this song existed, I forgot how it was supposed to sound. And I may or may not have judged it along with the piano-ness, and I feel like it may have gotten a higher score if it wasn't there.
I didn't, because I do like both parts. Like they both sound good for their own reason. I wish they were separate tracks, but yeah, I don't know. I that's pretty much my point. I wish they were separate tracks, but I didn't change the score of the song. I scored it just the way I wanted it to anyways. So difference between you and me, I guess.
I'd listen to it again. Well, I didn't realize that it wasn't part of the song, so I just gauged it for what it was, and because it didn't seem attached or cohesive, I judged it accordingly. But I would totally listen to it again. Like I said, I've definitely heard it before. So
yeah, and Embryo's not even a track on this album, like the vinyl that I'm looking at right now. Like it literally just says Babylon and then to the next song Pulse, and there's no time difference at all. So like, what the hell?
Interesting.
Why would they do this to me? Anyways, I guess we'll move on now since I already said the song. So song number 9, Pulse.
Yes. I like the crossfade from Babylon to this one. That was cool. It's a nice little intro. Again, this one has end of album vibes, not like last track, but like winding down. And it wasn't like this track is shit, that's why it's at the end. It has this weird feeling of like, we're winding down, we're coming to a close. And I actually kind of like that. It's like some weird audible like hint or like a cue. And it's weird that some songs have that, but this one to me definitely did.
It's weird because I didn't really get that. Although I will say I did write that this one suffers from side B syndrome, which we've mentioned several times before. And to anyone who doesn't know what that means, very quickly, it's just essentially how all the hits are on one side and then the other side kind of falls flat. Not necessarily all the time. That's not necessarily how this album even goes. Yeah, but just like you can always tell where the songs later written on in the sessions came in, and this felt like one of them to me. Although I do like the pacing of this track. Everything's kind of like on a 16th note feel. I really like that. Well, the drums are like in a half time feel. So it kind of gives you that like juxtaposition of speed, but yet also being kind of like slower. I like that. Does a good job of keeping the song heavy without being like too wildly energetic. But unfortunately, like, the song just kind of falls a little short for me. It's not entirely memorable. If like out of all the songs on the album, if you told me to like tell you what this one sounds like, I probably would struggle as compared to the others. So I mean, that's how I feel about the song anyway.
Well, I do have some insight on what I heard. The guitar tone sounds great. Really enjoy it, especially during the chorus. The synthy strings during the verse give it a great atmosphere. And I enjoy the percussion. There is some interesting fills, and it all kept my attention the entire time. And it being over 4 minutes, I would have assumed my attention would have died maybe a minute 50. So, positive note.
I mean, hey, if you felt that way about it, then that's great. But like, I don't know. I just didn't get that. And to think I've been like, I probably heard this album more than you have. I mean, not this week, but I mean, in general.
Yeah, I think like being cognizant of it, probably. I know that I heard it in passing a couple times, like when I was younger than 13. So,
and that was 45 years ago.
Oh, it hurts. It really hurts. But
just like your hips and back, it really hurts. And now your feelings.
Yes.
But yeah, that's all I kind of have to say about Paul. I'm done picking on you now. That's all I have to say about Paul's.
Fucking liar. No, you're not. But I'm also done with Paul.
Oh, we're back, aren't we? I get to pick on you all over again. I was kind to you over the holidays and pick on you, but now that we're back, I just got to tear into you a little bit.
Of course. That's where the money is, right?
That's where the dynamic is. We're characters. We're not even real people. We're just characters. I hate Savannah. Ha ha ha. Money, please.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't cry when we stop recording. That's beyond me. Ha ha.
That's factual. Song number 10, penultimate song now, ignoring Savannah's feelings. Emerald. Yay.
I don't know if it's just me, but like I feel like the song kind of started similar to Release. It just kind of had the same sort of like vibe when it started. And I did have to check if I was listening to the album on shuffle. Like it dies later on, but that's how I felt.
Literally my first note, really pretty riffing and chord changes, but this feels like an extension to Release. Because perhaps it is, because I don't know, it seems a little too coincidental of how similar it is. Like this couldn't have been done on like by accident. Like this had to be on purpose. Maybe it is an extension of the story, just kind of like pushed on, because again, like the two themes of the album are like dystopian future or just dystopian times and the afterlife, which I think this one definitely has to do with the afterlife for sure, because there were some, I wasn't reading the lyrics, but some of the things I heard were definitely kind of hinted at that. Okay. So, I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. Although Release is about apologizing to women or something. So I don't really know. If it was by accident, that feels really strange to me, because again, it's far too similar. But I do like the synth strings in the verse, though. I really like that. It's a nice touch that adds more emotion to the song. So that sounds good. And I also like the vocal balancing between the clean and screaming vocals. Like they're kind of like layered on top of each other. It's a great pairing. I love how full it makes the vocals feel. So there was that much to appreciate about it.
But surprise, I do like the song more than Release. When the chorus kicks in, I really like that. I like that the chorus is a little more kicking than the verse. It just sort of, I don't know. We've reviewed far too many songs where the verse has the energy and then the chorus kind of reins it back a little bit. So it is nice to hear like what you would expect, where the chorus is sort of the star of it. So I like that. I would definitely put this on my playlist, and I don't understand how this song wasn't a single. Just listening to it, I'm like, I think this would have, I don't know if it would have done well at the time it was released, but the chorus definitely has some like radio playing possibilities.
But because it sounds so similar to Release, I guess Release was just gentle enough that it was better to put on the radio, considering that they just had brought out like Temptation, Babylon, and this was the third single. So I mean, like you had those two fast, heavy songs, and so having this one, I guess, just was a counterbalance to that.
Well, I like this one. This one was good.
Yeah, I think you and I are both the same. I also like this one better than Release. Like, not even just talking about like ranking of the songs, like just generally, like if this was indeed an extension, this was like a part 2, then I definitely like the part 2.
Agreed.
Alrighty then, we'll get into the final song now. The song number 11, Aftermath. This one caught me by surprise, because like this is one of those songs that it's not that it's forgettable, but I just never remember it when I go through the album, because I don't often listen to this album front to back. Like like anyone would, you pick a handful of tracks that you like, maybe listen to them, and that's about it. Every once in a while I do. So coming back to this song, I completely forgot how this one went, and like it's really dark start to the track too. I was like, ooh, this is different. This is probably the most industrial sounding track they've ever done, aside from Babylon. I think this one's even more so because it's just slower. It has like the more industrial sound in like the drums and percussion, whereas like I feel Babylon had more of a drum and bass type sound, so like that's what kind of differentiates the two. This one focuses a lot more on like digital sounds and everything, and the soundscape and just like a lot of ambient noise. So that's why I think it sounds more industrial. And I like industrial music, so I can kind of point that stuff out sometimes.
It feels like the end of a concept album. It is like the typical end of album slow song. I don't know. It was just there for me. I didn't really find too much. Like I was listening to the song and then I kept having to go back to the beginning because either I wasn't paying attention or I was just sort of, maybe it is too ambient for me to really like focus on, because like I was just going about my tasks with my headphones on, and then I just realized there's silence. I was like, oh shit, the album ended, and I hadn't even listened to the song at all. So I feel like out of the entire album, I listened to Aftermath the most just so I could pay attention to it. And yeah, it was just there. It was there. Yeah.
See, there was a lot I appreciated about this track too. Like, first off, I appreciated like having this like kind of quieter, darker track to end the album, considering that there was a lot of energy in this album. So it's nice to come down it's always nice to come down at the end, as cliche as that might be. So I do enjoy that. I thought it sounded good because again, I like industrial style music. So having those elements, and they did it pretty well too. I mean, like, especially for like, you know, the late 90s, your mid to late 90s. So I mean, that's really cool. I like that. Jeff has this like tired, low tone style of vocal in this one, and actually I think that fits well with the theme of the end of the song and being an album ender as well. So everything about that sounded really cool. And just like, yeah, even with his voice sounding so frail, like it still sounded really good. I like the way it sounds. He's just got a great tone. He's got a great voice altogether. Like he's got that true rock star voice, in my opinion. Like he's Canadian, so hey, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's his name is Jeff Martin, not Jim Morrison. Just so everybody knows.
Exactly. No, none of this Doors bullshit. You can Google pictures and probably think it's like a reincarnation, but
the comparisons are wild and they're so accurate.
But he doesn't want to give the Tea Party, so I can't ever imagine him doing some sort of like Doors tribute act or anything like that.
Yeah.
What if he actually really hates the Doors? Like, we don't know that, do we? But he just doesn't tell anyone because it's like some sort of rock and roll blasphemy to say that. So like he's just like, oh yeah, Doors, they're pretty cool. But like meanwhile he gets home and like punches a punching bag with Jim Morrison's picture on it.
And the reason that he lives in Australia now is so nobody will ask him about Jim Morrison. He had to flee the country.
Yeah, and he had to fly like 24 hours away.
Oh my God.
It's a fucking impossibly long flight. So I remember when I went to go see the Tea Party, as I said earlier, I went to see them at the Sound of Music Festival, and Jeff Martin, the whole band, or I think it was just Jeff anyway, had just flown in from Australia, was completely jet lagged, and he's like, well, let's do the show. He looked exhausted, but he sounded and played fantastic, so I guess that's all that mattered.
Throw on the sunglasses, you'll be fine, you'll be fine.
But yeah, with Aftermath, like I do appreciate how atmospheric it is. I really like that kind of stuff, especially towards the end, and just it's a great come down, and just like you have nothing more to expect after this. So good placement on the album, good tone of the song, good song altogether. I like it, and I know that you apparently didn't.
Well, you know what? Agree to disagree.
Never.
Okay.
As we always tend to do anyway. But anyways, that does bring us to the end of the review for Tea Party's Transmission. So thank you very much for making it this far into this episode. If you did, and if you have made it this far, make sure you let us know in the comments of wherever you're listening. Audio, video, doesn't really matter. There's a comment section everywhere. Let us know what you think of this song, or these songs, this whole album. Just did you listen to it? Let us know what you think. But of course, there's always more to tell us, because there's two more things we got to do. First, we got to rank the songs.
Yeah.
The first time doing this in forever, and I got to remember how we do this because I forget everything that we ever do. But what I do remember is above our heads, boom, graphics have changed. There are names, there are numbers, but there's going to be more names because song names have to go there, blah, blah, blah. Worst to best, or at least least favorite to favorite. There was not really a song I hated on this album.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at my list. I have preferences, obviously, but I didn't hate anything.
Yeah. My list is what it is, and I don't think we're gonna have any matches.
Neither do I. Great way to start season 4.
Fantastic.
So the only way this is going to be the perfect review is if we get no matches and B tier it.
All right, I can't wait.
Well, we find out now then as I pick up my pencil to write down your responses. And I found my mini pencil, by the way, the one I've been using for like 3 seasons now. Towards the end of season 3, I lost it, but I found it again. I'm going to use this thing down to the fucking nub.
Nice. You are a nerd. Okay, let's move on. Enough about your damn pencil.
There's no eraser on it. Number 11, Pulse.
Aftermath. That was kind of obvious.
Afterbirth.
Blah.
Number 10, Release.
Babylon.
Did the piano ending fuck up the score for you that much?
It did, because I thought it was an entire song. And I was like, I didn't like this very much. But whatever. It is what it is. What am I going to do? Go back and change it now? Who knows? I may have actually knocked it down from a C to a C- if I change the score.
I was going to say, we're recording right now, which means I could literally stop and let you change the score.
I'm not doing that.
No problem. Number 9, Alarum. Ring the alarm.
Release.
Yeah, that was my number 10, wasn't it? Damn it. Number 8, Emerald.
Transmission.
Have you checked your transmission recently? Oh, anyways, funny joke. Number 7, Aftermath.
Gyroscope, or how the Greeks say Euroscope.
Yeah, Euro.
I want to say Euro, and I'm like, wait, that's not right.
Isn't
Anyways, I'm saying it like EURO.
Yeah, but isn't that how you pronounce like the food though? Anyway,
I don't know. I'm English. I bastardize every word I say.
And you colonize everything. Number 6, Psychopomp.
Army Ants.
Well, we really aren't going to have matches. Like it's like complete polar opposites everywhere.
No, we are so fucked.
We have like 1, and it's the song Temptation, but let's see where it ends up coming up. It's not here because my number 5 is Transmission.
And mine's Temptation, so it's not here at all.
Nice.
No.
Sorry, I almost wrote Temptation. Yes, that's what I want to write.
I feel like you're going to be surprised at my number 1, though. So that's all right.
Maybe. I mean, doesn't seem too surprising right now. Number 4, Army Ants. Pulse. That was my number 11. Well, then again, I mean, I haven't even said Babylon yet, and that was like your number 10.
Yeah, no, this is pretty much flipped. Yeah.
Number 3, Gyroscope.
Psychopomp.
Number 2, Temptation.
Number 2 is Alarum. I like that one.
Alarum. And I mean, my number 1's not a surprise since I said I used to listen to this all the time on the way to school. Number 1, Babylon.
Emerald. I like that song a lot. It's good.
Didn't necessarily surprise me.
Well, the flipped lists aggravates me. But then again, I did say we weren't going to have a match, so I guess
I also agreed.
All in all, I was correct. Just me, only me.
If you really want to take that, that's fine.
I do. Thank you.
I'm friendly, and this is the beginning of season 4. I will give you this 1. You get 1 per season.
I would like to feast on the scraps you provide. Thank you.
You hand in your wild card in episode 1 of the brand new season. It's like, now you're fucked for the rest. Anyways, we ranked the songs, and obviously we're terrible at doing that, so let's see how bad we are at rating the record. So let's check it out now. Transition screens. Okay, we haven't seen this in a while. The album rating screen. I mean, like, how could you possibly miss that B tier? Oh my goodness.
What are we, third on the third row now?
Yeah, third row, almost halfway. Again, to anyone watching the video version, we don't see the rating screen anymore. There's your fourth wall break right there. We just kind of talk, and then I do it in post and everything like that, so it's all good. But regardless, you can see it. You know where we're at. And also, to those of you who watched season 3, last season we had crowned a new number 1. And just in case you missed the episode 61, Rush is 21-12, sitting at the top of the mountain. No controversy this time. Not tied for first. Now Tool and Mr. Bungle can argue for silver medal. That's fine, because Rush is officially number 1. No dispute.
Nice. So excited.
Yeah, like, even though I picked the album, you can at least be happy that it's Rush.
Yes, and I am.
Well, now we have to see if the Tea Party will be up in the A tier. Will they end up in the B tier? We have no idea yet, and we're about to find out. And I'm going to make Savannah go first because I chose the album.
Oy. Okay, well, I'm not too embarrassed about my score. The Tea Party has really always been like hit and miss with me. Their singles are good. There's always some hidden gems for the most part, but I stick with what I know. This album to me was a surprise, although, like I said, I've heard it before at least 2 decades ago. Not bad, not bad. 78.09 came out a lot stronger than I thought going in. Very happy with it. I stand by it.
78.09. Divide that by 2. Just got to get the score going on my calculator here. That's cool because I this was another one of those things, kind of like with Rush and everything, where I was like, I know you like the band. I know you're not going to hate the album. I don't know how much you're going to love it, though. So in my head, I was guessing at least like 76, 77. I didn't say that, but that was like my initial guess in my head. I probably should have said that at the beginning. If I have like an idea of where I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Despite the fact our lists were polar opposites.
Oh my God, yes.
At least our scores are close enough because mine came out to 82.72. So let me just say this, because this is a historic episode. No, it's not a new number one, but I now have 10 albums that I have the top 10 albums of the show now because this came out to 80.40.
Oh my God. That's above a perfect circle.
Ooh. Yes, oh my God. So it's gonna go above a perfect circle.
Oh my God. That's our top, that's like just out of the top 5. How the fuck did that happen? Ooh.
I don't know, but just good scores.
Controversial.
Good scores all around, but you know what? I own the top 10. I have the entire A tier. I've kicked out Rage Against the Machine. I am the best musical tasting host here. Whatever the fuck that means.
I hate this.
I don't even know if we're back in right now, but that's okay. I'll just act like we are anyways, because man, A tier. No, we ended the season 3 with 2 A tiers in a row, and now this is our hat trick where we start season 4 with an A tier album. Kris owns the top 10. Kris owns the A tier. I mean, I've owned the A tier for the entirety of the podcast, but still, I own the top 10. Go ahead, talk shit. I dare you.
No, I literally can't. I am just upset. I am disappointed. And I don't think I'll be able to look at myself in the mirror again, ever. Like, honestly, recording this right now, I shouldn't even have my self view because I am just too embarrassed to even look at myself. Not only am I not choosing albums that you're pushing to the A tier, I'm pushing your albums to the A tier.
Hell yeah.
Like, like, thank you for introducing some albums that like I'm aware of but never listened to. So you kind of forced it upon me, well, against my will, I suppose. But like, the fuck.
Yeah, that's just the way it works, I guess. And the best part about it is like I don't necessarily sit there and like, what is she going to like rank highly? I don't sit there and think about that. Like, I just think about things I like and would like to like listen to again. So this is my excuse to do it. And you just so happen to like it too, at least 10 times.
God damn it.
I
got nothing. Just outro yourself.
You'll get something on the A tier eventually. Don't worry about it.
No, I probably won't. I pick things that I.
Oh, this is the season where that one pick's coming up that's probably going in the D tier.
I think it's like March or April, so a couple months to prepare.
Well, I mean, that's then and this is now. We've A-tiered the Tea Party's transmission. So, hey, the B-tier jokes, we can't even start the season with that because, I mean, we A-tiered an album. So if you made it this far through the episode and ranked the songs and rate the record with us, thank you very much for watching, listening, whatever you've done. Again, let us know what you thought about the album down in the comments of wherever you're listening, audio, video, there's comments everywhere. Let us know. You can also let us know on our social medias or whatever. Over on ratetherecord.ca, that's where you'll find all the links to all the streaming links, all the social medias. The album request link, if you want to request an album, we'll do it. Maybe you'll get an A-tier album too. Who knows? Savannah's trying to. Maybe you will as well. Hey, Tomahawk came close. And also the album giveaway. Remember, we are giving away records.
It came close, but you picked it. Or no, it was a request.
I didn't pick Tomahawk.
Thank God.
That was a request.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry for interrupting you. Thank God.
I will say initially I did pick it, but then someone requested it, so then I counted it as a request. But we were going to do it much later in our calendar, but because it was requested, I pushed it way the fuck further to the front of the line.
Either way, I still imagine it is your pick, and it
might as well be.
So upsetting. Anyways, it's on ratetherecord.ca.
Yeah, and again, album request an album, go ahead and do that. And we're also giving away records. Remember, we are doing that right now. Contest is actively live. Down in the description below over on ratetherecord.ca, there's a link for the album giveaway this month for January 2023. It is Radiohead's OK Computer. So if you want to participate, make sure you click that link, check it out, fill it out. Make sure you read the rules too. Very important. It's not that long. It only takes like a minute. Read them because you might not get the record depending on where you are. Right now, we are trying to fix that, but for now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. We don't really have a huge budget for this. So, we can't spend tons and tons of money on shipping.
Yes. And just over the last little bit, I think pretty much since 2020, shipping has just gone through the roof. So, unfortunately, we kind of started this a little late to get some good shipping rates. So, sorry, guys.
Damn me being in college, and that's the only reason why we held up podcast stuff for so long, because we wanted to wait till it was done.
Yeah, exactly.
Had to graduate and all that shit.
And
but anyways,
I dropped out.
Yeah, exactly. You were gone like a few months before the end. We don't have to dig into that anyway.
Either way.
You brought it up.
I did.
Anyways, yeah, so let us know what you thought about the album. So I'm pretty stoked, and I know you are too. As much as you hate to admit it, you at least like the album enough that you helped push it up there with me.
Yeah, I am disappointed only because I am contributing to your not so humble bragging. I would listen to this album again,
because you already like the Tea Party anyway.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you prey on my my good nature and my fantastic hearing for good albums. You're like, oh, she'll like this one. We're gonna get this in the A tier.
I know, when we started season, we C-tiered the album I did last year with starting season 3. That was The Kills.
Yeah, well, it deserved it.
See. They can all be bangers, but the top 10 are at the very least. So yeah, before we let you go, and you can go off and enjoy this album if you haven't done so yet, we do like to give a little sneak peek of what to expect next week. And next week, maybe Savannah chose an A-tier album. I don't know, but she chose something.
Knowing me, she probably didn't.
B- at best.
Next week, we have a band that is named after a phrase used in aviation. That's it. That's the clue.
I don't really know what to, Mayday. I don't know.
Yes. Isn't there like Mayday Parade? There we go. Emo music. That's what we're doing.
No, we're going to be doing Sneaker Pimps because they have that really cool song called Mayday. So I like that. So we're going to be doing Sneaker Pimps next week. We're going to be listening to some
we're not.
UK trip hop. We're doing it.
That is not what we're doing.
It's a good song. I don't care. Anyways, if you can somehow decipher that little code there, then maybe you'll know what we're doing next week. But until then, go listen to some awesome music like the Tea Party's Transmission album. Yeah. And we will see you again next time. So take care, friends.
Bye-bye.